or a video for this channel, but kind of wanted to start doing it and get back into the swing of things. So life circumstances have changed my situation. So I should be able to have enough time now to start making some more videos, especially on stuff that I actually like, cars, tools, product reviews, stuff like that. So today we're going to take a look at some professional inspection scopes. So you'll commonly see these referred to as endoscopes or inspection cameras. That terminology seems to be interchangeable today, so we'll go with inspection camera for now. But I have three different cameras here, and the reason I got these was I have a home technology smart home company, and I needed a scope to help me look inside of walls if I'm trying to mount something or something like that. That way, you know, I don't hit anything in the wall. Commonly inside of walls, especially interior walls, there may be plumbing and stuff running behind the wall. So I want to make sure I don't hit any of that. So that's why I got a camera. So initially I picked up this one here. This was really inexpensive. I want to say this one's made by Depstech, same company as this one here. But this one was somewhere around, like, I want to say it was under 100, somewhere around like 50 or 60 bucks maybe. But I started looking at some of their other products and see they offered a 7-inch, bigger screen, right? You can see a little bit more, right? And then I looked at another competitor to them, which is Teslong. So these two companies here have been fairly popular recently. Now, inspection cameras are not new. You know, you have some that are made by, you know, your top tool brands like Snap-on and Mac and some of those other ones, and those are commonly used in the automotive field. But there are some other ones from like Milwaukee and Klein that are used more so in the trades. So, you know, you have those legacy companies that make theirs, but then these are some fairly new companies. Obviously, looking at the names, these are probably some Chinese company that are making these, but I wanted to see how good they are because I didn't want to spend, you know, crazy amount of money going and purchasing a bunch of cameras. But these two back here are the more expensive ones. I want to say these come in at under 300 for these, but they do offer some nice features as far as they're either a dual lens or a triple lens camera. I think both of these are triple lens. Both of these offer a 7-inch screen. They both come with their own carrying cases. But as you know, I'm a pack out junkie. So whichever one of these I keep is going to go into a pack out container. So I'll cut out some Kaizen foam and make sure that fits in there nice and snug. But kind of wanted to review these here and kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at some of the different price points and something from your non-traditional tool companies. All right, before we open up these, I just want to let you all know that none of these products have been sponsored by anyone, not by Depstech, not by Teslong. I purchased these with my own money because I wanted to find out which one of these would work best for me and my business. So these are my own opinions in this video, but just want to let you all know that before we get started. All right, so now to the DS300. This one, fairly small. So let's see, doesn't look like it has any sort of carrying case or anything, which isn't terrible, but if you want something with a case, this one does not have that. Let's see, we have looks like we got a magnet or a mirror and a hook in the little accessory pack here. And then we have your user manual, which is nice because not every product comes with a physical user manual. A lot of times they just want you to scan a code, go online, and that's it. All right, so this is the camera itself. This one is fairly small. I'd say, oh, and a charging cable. And this one looks like, this uses USB, a micro USB for charging, which, you know, everything is USB-C now, so I wish that was, but, you know, hey, it is what it is. All right, so this one is a 16-foot snake here with the camera attached to it. This camera head, I believe, is 5.5 millimeters in diameter, so a fairly small head size here, which is nice. This particular one is a dual lens, so you have a camera here on the end, and then you have a camera here on the side, and that comes in handy when you're needing to snake this down into something or into a wall, and you want to look to the side to see if there's anything there. Screen size, I couldn't find the exact resolution on the screen, but I imagine it's not going to be anything crazy. Even the larger units, I think those screens, they max out at like 720p, so I believe this one's probably going to be a little less than that. But fairly easy to use, have all your buttons here. Like I say, it has a little grip on the back, almost like a camera. You have your charging port down here, and then you have a SD card slot. I believe this actually has a 32 gig card in it. Yeah, so it comes with a 32 gig card for storing photos and video, and has a rubberized rubber cover here that snaps into place. All right, so let's turn this on. You have the power button here on the bottom. You have your screen right when you turn it on, and then you have your camera. Now, all these have cameras with lights on the end of it, so if you stick it into something, you'll be able to see down in there. You have a few control buttons here, menu, flipping this back and forth between the cameras. If you want to take a photo or a video, most of these are very similar. So I'd say between all of these, the button functionality is going to be relatively the same. You have your back and forth buttons here with plus and minus. So this will give you the brightness for the lights on the end of the camera if you want to turn those up or down. You have this button here, this 180 button, so that just when you press that down, it allows you to hit the side camera here on the side. Then you can rotate that by pressing that again, and that gives you your different options there. Then if you press and hold it, this does give you a nice split screen view. So if you want to be able to see the side and the front camera at the same time, then you have that option here on this camera, which is pretty cool. We have your menu, so you can pick your resolution. So this particular camera will take a video and photos in a 1080p resolution. You can set your different language. You can have it auto shut off if you want to after a period of time. Set your screen brightness. You have the ability to format the card that's inside if you get a new card, or if you just want to format to clear everything off. You can reset the system to take it back to factory defaults. Set your time setting. Your data transmission if you want it to go out and transfer the stuff off of the device onto something else. It also shows you your storage space on the card, and at the bottom there you have your version. So relatively easy to use. I wouldn't say any of these are actually that difficult to use. They're very similar as far as how the menus and stuff are set up and how they operate. So then we go back and press and hold that 180 button there, that circle with the arrow. That takes us back. So just to give you an idea, I have a socket here on the wall. So if we want to stick that in the hole there, we have a pretty bright camera, pretty bright light on the end of the camera, so we can actually see down inside of this socket. So you could imagine if you're sticking this in a wall or into a wall cavity or something like that, you want to see if there's any plumbing or anything else behind it. This will come in great. For the price, I'd say this is pretty good. Now you do get a little bit of looks like jellyfishing on the screen. Let's see if I be absolutely still what it will do. Yeah, if the camera shakes anyway, you can see it on there. The kind of almost has a rolling shutter effect there. So you just got to be aware of that. But for the price, I think this one's actually pretty good. Under $100, you really can't go wrong. You know, the other thing with this is if you lose it at $100, you'd feel a little easier losing that than one of the other ones. So yeah. All right, so now we're going to take a look at the DS700, the big brother to the one we just looked at. Like I say, the buttons and stuff on the front, very similar to the other one. You know, this one here has a 7-inch screen on it. This one does have a camera snake that can screw on and off. I would say it was a little more durable, has a little more armor on the outside of it. The unit itself seems to be a little more rugged. And what's cool is this actually comes in a really nice case. This is probably the better case I like out of all of them. This reminds me of a Pelican case. You're able to lock it down here on the end. So if you wanted to put a lock in here to lock it, you can. Again, I'm a pack out fanatic, so these are probably going to go into a pack out. But all in all, I think this case is actually the nicest out of the bunch. All right, so we open that. You're greeted with some padding here on the inside. We have the unit itself. Down here is where we have a manual. Have your little accessories pack here. And then we have the camera snake. Put that back. And we have a charging cable. Now this one is USB-C. This one and the Teslong are USB-C, which is great because, most of my devices are USB-C for the most part, with the exception of maybe my current Apple TV remote, but that's going to be replaced too. But this one is nice. I like the case. Has, you know, foam already cut out for it, so that's a really nice plus. So when we take this one out, you can kind of see this one feels more like an automotive tablet, like you would find in an auto shop for diagnostic purposes. So this one feels very familiar. It is fairly easy to grip. Now this one does have a little strap on the side as you can adjust to really hold on to, which is really nice. The camera attaches here at the top. Now one thing this does have over, I'll move this out the way. All right, so one thing that this does have, this and the Teslong have over some of the cheaper ones, is this does have a stand on the back. So you can sit this, you know, tabletop on a hard surface and then use the camera, use the snake without having to hold this in your hand. So that is pretty nice. Very similar button layout, just bigger on this screen here. So ergonomically, this was probably going to be a little bit easier to use as far as sizing goes, especially if you have bigger hands. People with smaller hands may find the other one to be a little bit better, may find the other one to be a little bit easier to use, but yeah, this one's pretty cool. The other thing with this particular cable, which is different than the other ones and even different from the Teslong, is that this has a kind of a soft rubber feel up into a certain point into the camera snake, and then the rest of the snake is armored. So you can see it here that the rest of this has like a rubberized, it's a metal under here, but this has a rubber coating on it, which is really cool. This particular camera snake here is triple lens. So you have a lens here, here, and here on the back side. So this one is triple lens. Just like the Teslong, which I really like, this one actually screws into the top of this, so you have a very secure connection. So there's a little slot inside of this connector that lines up with a red dot right here on the front of the camera. So you pop that in, slide it, and then you screw it down. That ensures that the cable is not going to fall out, which is nice. All right, so if we go ahead and turn this one on, this one's going to be very similar to the last Deptech. So you get the same, splash screen, but like I said, you get a bigger screen here, a bigger and clearer screen, in my opinion. So you're able to see a little bit better, and you have much more of a viewing angle and screen to actually deal with. So we'll do the same test like we did on the other one. As we follow this down the rabbit hole here, we'll be able to see inside of this socket. Fairly small hole here. So you can kind of see what we get as far as, resolution when you're going down into this little hole here. And these are bendable, so you don't have to worry about that. All of these are kind of made in that same fashion. But again, at the top, you have your modes. Here, this button right below it, this is where you'd be able to flip between the different cameras. Your left, right cameras for either side. You have a split screen view here. So you can flip that between all your different camera views. And very similar layout, your OK button, back and forth, settings. So when you go into settings, this just gives you a much larger screen to kind of work with. So you do have that. So very similar layout to the smaller one. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn that one off. So out of the three, this one is kind of feeling like it might be my favorite, but we'll see. We have still one more to review. All right, so now we're at the Teslong. This is the 7-inch from Teslong, the NTS700. This case is not bad. This kind of feels like a generic kind of like blow mold case. It doesn't have a distinctive look or anything like the larger Depstech, but it's still a carrying case, which is still better than most. So we'll go ahead and unlatch that. These latches on this case do kind of suck. I'm not, truthfully, they are not great. So we'll go ahead and open this one up. Now this one does have foam inside. When you open this one up, you have the unit itself, you have the camera snake, your accessories. Again, this is USB-C, your little accessories pack. You have your owner's manual. Let's see here, you have a few things here, some warranty information or help information. So we do have that. And then you have the camera snake as well. So just like the Depstech, this one does screw on to the unit. So we'll go ahead and get this one out and move this stuff out of the way. Now this particular unit feels more like almost like a smartphone because of the size, which is, it actually looks pretty cool. Again, 7-inch screen. Now the button layout on here is a little different. But it still fits in my hand, kind of feels like a point and shoot camera almost. This one does have a stand on the back as well. And with this one actually does unscrew. So 1/4 there, so if you did want to mount this onto something, you could. But that just screws right on the back side of that. Camera snake, very similar. Now this one is armored all the way through, so there's no soft section at the top here, but it screws on very similar to the Depstech, where there's a slot here on the camera and then there's a little red dot there. So you want to make sure that slots in, and then you're able to screw this down. All right, so once you do that, you got a green power button down here. We can press that. That turns the unit on. Again, we have the camera. Up here you have your light. This is for adjusting the light on the front of the camera. You have a record button here, so if you want to either snap a photo or if you want it to record anything, you have the option for that. Your your buttons for your menu options here. This M here just brings up kind of memory of what you've actually like either snapped a photo of or taken a video of. You have your settings menu here. This one's very simple. Resolution, date stamp. If you want it to make the shutter sound, and to go over, you just hit the little gear icon and it gives you the rest of your options here. Press that again, it goes back. So this is very similar, you know, it's very easy to use, you know, good functionality. This one does feel a little more slimmed down, so if you want something a little more slim, this would be perfect for that. So we're going to do the same thing. Let's turn the, so if we do something similar, go down into the socket. So yeah, works out pretty well. Again, I think either one of these is going to work fairly well. The biggest differences being the kind of their size and footprint. I'd say between this and the larger Depstech, you know, you're looking at the size difference, you know, depending on what you're looking for can make a difference. We're just going to unscrew this. So if we're looking at size for these two larger ones, that's kind of what you're looking at there. So, you know, that the Depstech is thicker. I'd say if you're going to be in a more dirty environment, an environment where you may be more prone to dropping it, this one looks like it might hold up better because it does have some rubber components on the sides. They both have their stands. This one has a 1/4 on the back if you want to mount it. So, you know, you do have a couple of other features that, you know, this one has over this one. This one is a little slimmer. Feels more like a cell phone. You do have a little light on the top there if you want to use that. This does have a hook if you wanted to hook a strap to it there or there. So you do have an option to do that. From the reviews I've seen, people seem to be pretty happy with either. But I will say, you know, between these, I don't know. I'm going to have to test them and see which one I like more. All right, so let me know what you think of these units. Let me know if you have either one of these. Either you have this Depstech DS700 or the Teslong NTS700. What do you like about either one? Has anybody used either of these units? Or if you had this smaller unit, let me know what you think. Do you want the larger screen? Does the larger screen not matter? Leave your comments below. Let me know what you think. Let's start a discussion. I want to hear from you all. But thanks for watching the video, and we'll see you in the next review.